Welcome. So today we're going to look at the origin of all. I'm going to attempt to answer one of the greatest mysteries of life, of existence itself, and what it's all about in terms of why are we here now. This is a fantastic realization that I'm about to share with you. Now, of course, you are free to reject anything that doesn't resonate with you or may seem uncomfortable for you to accept or comprehend at this time. Okay, it's totally up to you. I am just going to attempt to explain through my own personal experiences, through my own, let's call them spiritual endeavors and my spiritual adventures. Please remember, though, that expressing an explanation of such a complex and difficult question that has puzzled humankind since our earthly inception is extremely difficult, as we are all limited by the mud-like faculty between our ears, which has extreme limitations to grasp concepts of such magnitude. However, we can all agree that to a certain degree, by keeping an open and objective mind, then perhaps we can accept quite a few truths and quite a few insights into what it's all about. And that is what I'm going to share with you right now. So without further ado, are you ready? Here we go. So let's begin at the very beginning of what we call time. Although, time is only relevant on this earthly plane in the sense and concept that we know it as. It is actually very different in the spiritual worlds and also other universes. However, the source of it all, let's call it the universal source or the God force, God, the origin, whatever, it awoke. So let's call it it. It awoke and it realized that it was the beginning, it was the source of it all. And as the beginning, it could actually expand, grow, and create at will. In the beginning, there was only emptiness and itself. And it realized that being the perfect source and origin of all was and is by itself rather boring, or what we term as boring. It therefore decided to grow further and gain what we shall term as experiences, which in turn allow it to gain further expressions of energy and allow it to grow and expand infinitely. It realized that to do this, it should split itself into trillions upon trillions of smaller portions of itself, and each portion becomes further weakened, and it's not replicated with its full power. So its full power could only be wielded by itself, and the smaller portions would become diluted versions of itself, of which it would replicate even further, and each replication would be given an identity of its own, and it would also be given an amnesia in order to start from zero and start to want to experience new things for itself. And through this quest, let's call it this quest of trying to find out what it's all about, it would generate greater energies. It would make mistakes, it would make triumphs, good things, bad things, and the aim of itself and of it all is to try and make good decisions in order not to harm, without necessity, other replications of itself. So the purpose was to further create an experience In turn, it would send these experiences back to itself, the origin. Worlds were created, of which each was further split and replicated. What we now are beginning to understand as parallel universes actually exist. Although each replication, let's say a copy of ourselves in these parallel universes, are not us per se, but they are separate versions of us leading separate lives. Each smaller manifestation of itself split even further and continually aim to do so. So that is the point of life. Wherever it is in any realm or plane, its purpose is to try and replicate itself. Just like the origin did by splitting itself, we now kind of split ourselves by co-creating, by joining with another split portion of the origin. Many are tasked with duplicating themselves by joining with other already split fragments of itself that have evolved into unique variations of it. We are, and all is, still connected with the origin of it all. If we have a look, quantum physics and quantum mechanics, as they are ever evolving, new discoveries are being made. Scientists are now beginning to understand what ancient shamans or shamans and ancient magicians knew all along about these parallel universes, about the individual quest to experience and create, about a death of the body but eternal spiritual selves that can retain autonomy through ascendance after this physical death, and to rebirth at will if we choose to, or to rebirth if we have not achieved a certain level of ascendance until we actually reach that point. Thus, all of this helps this growth process in all beings actually, and ultimately the continual growth of the origin, or what we will call it, of which we are as a fragment of. And this is why magic is real, and why we can evolve to higher versions of ourselves and wield great power to create. This is why we have the potential to tap into these energies. But it is a quest, a journey, a great endeavor to learn and uncover and wield. And the proper cultivation of these forms of energy to ever greater levels is a task which very few magicians, even to this day, witches, actually know. But that is another topic that I will talk about in a future video. The cultivation of these magical energies, there are specific processes that will actually aid you, and I will talk about them later on. If you're interested in any of my courses that touch upon the cultivation of these special magical energies, then please check out the links below. Okay, if you enjoyed this video, please click on the like. It just helps spread this message to more people in the globe, so to speak. Until then, have a good one, keep safe, keep happy, and keep practicing good magic.